cast proud. Gold digger spinning, chips take flight. Cutting clean, cutting mean, looking real nice. Loading the Bamix board, stack 'em high. No more sanding, just cut and fly. Got the bits, got the files, got the gear. CIC Workshop, we're built right here. Hey! Load it up, press that go. Watch it cut, watch it flow. Shapes and signs, trays and more. We're making magic on the shop room floor. Her cutting it close, let's have some fun. No stress, no mess, just get it done. Bits are sharp, Bamix is strong. Grab your gear, let's cut all night long. Spin that bit, watch it fly. Smooth as butter, ain't gotta try. Grab a drink, take a seat. Live stream's on, now that's elite. Cut fast, cut deep, stay sharp, stay bold. Welcome to the stream, let the projects unfold.
Was that not the coolest intro song you have ever heard? I do a little weekend DJing. So yeah, that was me singing, if anybody wants to know. You know, that's me. So welcome to live stream number 4 with Cutting It Close, live on a CNC. Today's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be live V-carving a photo into a piece of wood, and we have a very, very special guest who is the master of all things Vectric, master of all things VCarve Pro, and a very good dear friend of mine. So we're going to have Kyle Ellie come on, and he's going to walk us through. We're going to be running the CNC and making some cool stuff. So let's get this party started. Let's bring on Kyle. Welcome, Kyle.
Hey, everyone. Glad to be here. Ryan, you have an amazing voice.
Thank you. Yeah, the weekend DJing is really picking up. I did 2 weddings last weekend.
Oh, you're not going to be able to do any CNC stuff pretty soon.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's going to take over. I'm going to be like, I need the cool mask, you know, so I'm doing some stuff here. So what we have, guys, is a Photo V-Carve. Kyle's going to explain kind of how this process works, walk me through the programming of it. I already have a little piece of material ready, and I think it's going to take probably 15 to 20 minutes. So we're going to jump right into it while it's carving out. Any questions you have for Kyle, whether it's Vectric related, V-Carve related, or Photo V-Carve related, that'll be the time to ask. And we'll hopefully do a full Photo V-Carve in this episode. Should be about an hour. And we'll have 2 different giveaways while we are in the show. Kyle has something special to give away, and we have, or may not have, some bits to give away. So with that being said, let me show you some of my past Photo V-Carves I've done. I have Einstein, like that. Boom. We have, anybody guess who this is? Anybody know who this one is? Anybody guess? Let's see if anybody gets it right. Kyle, do you know who this one is?
I'm guessing a president.
No.
Or a general.
No.
I'm not sure.
Let's see if anybody gets it right. Looking at the chat.
World history major.
Nope. George Jefferson. Nope. So this right here is none other than the great steel magnate, Andrew Carnegie.
Yeah.
And then another Photo V-Carve that I have done, which is a little bit more complicated, is this Steve Jobs.
That one looks amazing.
Any ideas on how I did this one, Kyle?
I'm guessing epoxy.
Yeah, black and white epoxy.
That's
Thousands
awesome.
and thousands of lines.
How long did that carve? Long time?
I think 2 hours, hour and a half, something like
Oh,
that.
wow. That's actually not bad.
The scariest part with it was whenever I shaved it all off, if I went just a little bit too deep, it was going to be like totally ruined. So like the Z
Yeah.
height tolerances on this one, crazy, crazy, crazy.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, and once again, guys, if you have any questions for Kyle, he's here, he's available, and we'll hop right into it. So I'm going to open up my Aspire, and let's have Robert E. Lee. I love that. Close. Grandpa. So let's
Your dad.
open up my Aspire real quick. I'll share my screen, and then Kyle can kind of walk me through what we're going to be doing here. So let me share, and we'll be good to go. All right, Kyle. So I have Aspire or VCarve Pro 11.5. And our material we're going to be using today, that cutting board or the piece of material, which is just an old crappy cutting board, is 12 by 9. So I have everything set up, center datum, all that good stuff, and material surface. For some reason, this Aspire goes, well, if I can click it.
Yeah, I was going to say material surface is really good one to pick for a Photo V-Carve.
Yeah, and it is not wanting me to click it. So
Oh boy.
we'll see if we can click it on the other. Oh, there we go. And why is it important, the Z0 to be the material surface on a Photo V-Carve, Kyle?
Yeah, that's because you're going to be, this whole process is carving just that surface. So if you start from the machine bed and your thickness of your material is not set up properly, your toolpath is not going to work out properly. The Z depth is critical for this process.
Okay. So my eye squints should pay off. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's good idea to have a nice flattened wasteboard for this too. Get that spoil board flattened before you do a project like this for anybody watching.
So I have a couple different photos that I've already imported in. My favorite is this one, obviously. Really want to do this one tonight, but I think it's going to take too long, and I don't want to ruin her. She's too beautiful. I have the classic Full Metal Jacket scene right here.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, whenever we're importing photos for this, how important is it for the photos for a Photo V-Carve?
Yeah, the better quality photo you can get, the better your result's going to be. I've seen people try to carve really blurry images and they can never get them to work out. So it's best to find a really good quality image that you can import. There are new AI tools you can use, like an AI photo enhancer tool that can help if you have a blurry image, but it's best to find a really good image to start with.
Does it matter black and white or colored?
Yeah, does black and white or colored images matter? Is there a difference in how
You could do either
out?
or. The black and white's going to be a little bit better on the contrast, but color images will work just fine.
Okay. And I can kind of echo that.
I was going to say in Vectric, you can convert it to black and white too.
All right. So if I wanted to convert this one to black and white.
Yeah. And edit objects, there's a photo editor button down right there. Oop. Yep. That one. And then you see it says grayscale. That will convert it to black and white.
Does that actually make a difference on the end product?
I don't think so. I don't think that's going to really make much difference. But what will make a difference is the settings at the top. If you want to adjust the contrast or the brightness, if your image is a little dark or doesn't have much contrast, you can adjust all that up there at the top. It's basically just some basics editing you could do. You can also add a border at the bottom if you want an oval or a rectangle border. So those are some things you can do before you set up the toolpath. You can see right there.
Beautiful. Okay, interesting. So
and then it's also worth noting you can also crop images with Vectric as well.
And that's bringing over this circle right here. And typically, guys, if you're watching this, Kyle would be doing all this, but since we're running this on my CNC, we don't want to have to send the profile, the thing back and forth. So for just this one that we're programming for the CNC, I'll be on mine. But if y'all need Kyle to hop on, he can definitely hop on his and show off whatever he needs to show off.
Definitely.
So you would, if I wanted to crop this into a circle, I would do that.
Yep, you need a closed vector. Yep, select them both and then click the crop bitmap option.
Okay, boom.
And that would cut everything out.
That's creepy. I don't want that. I do not want that.
You can also use the freehand draw tool or one of the drawing tools to draw like directly around him. You can also use the trace bitmap tool to try to trace the image as well. And like that Marilyn Monroe, you could probably use the trace bitmap tool. And since she's contrasted from the background, that bottom one there, you may be able to tweak the settings to just put a vector around her, and then that would be able to trace her.
Now, I have a question, Kyle. If I'm tracing this, if I go and distort it on the black and white, like let's just say I can't get a good trace for whatever reason. Let's say I tune it down and can't get a good trace for whatever reason.
Yeah.
This is where you can take that, go to the picture editor, adjust the darkness, and then you may have a better black and white photo you can trace.
Yeah, that might help with the tracing. Probably the contrast you can adjust.
Okay.
To help
interesting.
Get that background out of there.
Interesting. Okay, I never even thought about that.
Like that. And then you can go back to your settings after you trace it. Or you can make a copy of it and then delete the copy when you're done.
Copy. Okay, interesting. And then, so I'll do the old undo, copy, redo, paste kind of method. Copy, redo, and then we'll trace that out.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm not going to do that live because that's going to take a little bit. I want to get to cutting on this CNC if my computer unfreezes real quick. That's another thing. Why do these slow down so much? Why do these slow down Aspire?
It might be because you're live. Might be just too much. Or if those pictures are really big files, that could also slow it down.
Okay. So I'm going to do this Iwo Jima tonight. Pretty basic right here. I think it should come out okay. So I'm just going to drag this down. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of these problems here, Kyle.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to set it the size. Probably on the height, it's 9.
I saw somebody ask in the comments too if they can use a picture they took on their phone. Yeah, you definitely can. Most phones these days have really good cameras. So as you can see, this old black and white image we're going to be using that tonight. If you can use that image, you can use something on a smartphone that's been taken recently. It's
and quality. Dealing with the live, I wish I could just pop a picture up and do it for y'all guys, but I just think this is going to be a lot quicker than taking a photo of the live. So, but yeah, I definitely think you can use any photo, and I want to use this one just to kind of show you. Let's see if it gets this detail here. Let's see if it does the flag, and then we have that kind of gray background. So I kind of want to see what it does with that. I just came in here and I put some fillets because our piece of wood has 1-inch radiuses on it. And we got our photo. Now this is where we get to the interesting stuff, right, Kyle?
Yes.
Boom.
So it's worth mentioning here, this can be done with VCarve Desktop, VCarve Pro, or Spire. So as long as you don't have Cut2D, you should be able to have this Photo V-Carve option.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So what max carving depths do you recommend, or what do you recommend starting at?
So 0.05 is a good starting point. It all depends on the overall size of the project and what your goals are with it. So for example, if you're epoxy filling it, you may want a little extra depth. But if you're just carving it and then painting it, the depth doesn't have to be as much.
Okay.
But basically, the deeper you go is not always the better because you're going to lose some of the quality. Shallower cuts going to be able to get you a finer line to get better quality result.
And to show that, Kyle, because me and you were talking about this beforehand, if we would do an 1/8 inch carving depth, guys, Kyle told me we're going to get a lot less lines on this. And so you see how many lines it's going to carve out. And whenever it carves it, and let's say we paint it black, see how this looks? Looks like crap.
Yeah, you definitely want to play around with these settings because you can go back and forth with your preview to get a good idea of what this is going to look like. Basically, the more lines you have, the higher quality image. It's like dots per inch when you're printing on a piece of paper from your printer.
Yep.
The more dots per inch you have, the better quality the image is going to be.
And the lines are determined by this max carving depth and this line spacing, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to go with your 0.05. And then
it's probably worth mentioning what that next option is too, where it says step over retract. If anybody doesn't know what that is, basically when it'll do one line going across and it's going to lift up the machine and go to the next line. You should be able to see that on the ends there. That's basically the machine lifting up and going to the next line. If you have that set to a really high number, like I would say anything over 1/4 inch is going to be considered high. Right here, Ryan has it set to 1 inch. You can see how high it lifts up to go to the next line. That all is wasted time. So let's say there's 100 lines there and each one moves up 1 inch and then down 1 inch. That's 2 inches per line. That's over 200 inches your machine is moving when it's not cutting anything. So the lower you have that, the quicker it's going to machine.
Yeah. So right now it's looking like at about 20 minutes. And if we go down to that 0.1 step over retract, we are at, let's see if it changes it. I don't know. We'll
Should.
see. Yeah. So that saves us 5 minutes of cut time.
Yeah, 5-6 minutes there. So.
Yeah.
And the bigger the project, the more time saving you're going to have.
Yeah. And keep in mind, this is a pretty small project, but I think somebody can do this on a single board, right? You can get a 9-inch wide piece of board. And we'll talk about the material when it's cutting. The next thing I want to get into, Kyle, is let me just do a 0.05 carving depth. Like you said, we'll do a raster, 100% density. And whenever you adjust this.
Yeah. Also worth mentioning, the V-bit you use is going to make a big difference. So if you use a larger V-bit, like a 90 degree, it's going to have wider lines and not as good of detail. If you use a smaller V-bit, like a 30 degree, you're going to have those smaller, finer lines. It's going to give you much better detail. So you're going to have a trade-off between machining time and quality. You have to decide what's more important to you and choose which one you want to go with. The smaller V-bit you use, the longer it's going to take to machine, but it's going to look better.
So right here, Kyle, I did that 45-degree line angle, but it's cutting that pole up a whole bunch right here.
Yes. Yeah. So if you ever want the line to go a certain direction, like the angle of that pole, you can actually figure out the angle of a object like that on the picture. The way I would do that is just draw a line on there, and then you can use the measuring tool to figure out the angle. So yeah, you can click a line. There you go. And just kind of follow the length of that a little bit. You can either see the angle right on that. It says 50.5, it looks like.
Yep.
You can use that angle. And then you can also draw that line and then use the measuring tool as well if you wanted to. But we already saw it there. It's 50.5, but you can use the measuring tool if you wanted to as well.
Okay. So if we do a negative 50.5, whoop, let me select the picture.
There you go.
It should go right with that pole.
Yeah, you'll see negative will take it at a slant, like a backslash, basically. A positive will give it a / angle. So there you go. That's following that angle of the pole.
Yeah, and so here's the difference, guys, we're looking at. We have this one chopping up that pole a whole bunch. I don't necessarily love it. But if we chop up that pole backwards at that negative 50.5, we are golden. Do we have any questions coming in, by the way? No, everybody's happy. Good, Kyle. You're doing good. All right. So I'm going to get this thing going on the CNC, Kyle, and we'll hop back to this with explaining the different bits and whatnot. And
yeah, for sure.
We'll get this going since it looks like it's going to take 14 minutes.
I could show you.
I have my... Go ahead, Kyle.
I was gonna say I could show you a cool technique you can do with these as well, but we can set this up after I start cutting. We can take
Okay.
a look at it.
Yeah, I'd love to learn a little bit more about this. So I'm running this at 120 inches a minute, 60-degree V-bit, plunge rates, half my feed rate, and it should do everything in one pass since it's only going down 0.5 inches. So that's my
0.5.
settings. Hit calculate, and we'll get this rolling, and then you can learn me some, Kyle.
Sounds
All
good.
right. Boom. It's going 0.05, so almost a 16th of an inch. So let me get this going right here. Get this bad boy cranked up. I'm using the Altmill again today, guys. Kyle, do you have any experience with the Altmill?
Just what I've seen at the conferences. I haven't had any hands-on experience yet.
Oh, by the way, guys, if you ever play Kyle at Guitar Hero, don't let him dupe you. He will smoke you at Guitar Hero.
Got to be careful. I have lots of experience.
Yeah, he smoked me. All right, got it saved. We are good to go. Let's get this machine going. If you have any questions about the Altmill, right when you start it up, you have to do this little e-stop right here. And then you got to home it. I'll do this. What I do like about the Altmill is how fast this thing homes. So when you home it, well, if I don't get a big giant e-stop there. Ah, there we go. So it homes pretty fast. Going back to the back corner over there. I'm just going to use some double-sided tape to hold this down real quick. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, double-sided.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's talk about the materials, Kyle.
Oh yeah,
What do you
good
recommend,
point.
my man?
For Photo V-Carve, you do not want to use softwood. If you could stay away from that, that would be ideal. Hardwoods with a tight, dense grain is ideal. Like maple, hard maple, even walnuts. Walnuts a little bit hard though, with it being a darker wood. But you can also use cherry or a type of material like that with a tight, dense grain. That's going to carve the best. Make sure the wood is very flat, even if you have to surface it first. And you can also use other types of materials like corian or PVC or different types of plastics, acrylics even. I've seen Photo V-Carve done on lots of different materials.
Hold this down. I don't love using double-sided tape, but it'll hold good enough. Yeah, so what I have today is just some hard maple that I took from our scrap pile in the back of the shop, and I already put a clear coat on it. This is something that, I don't know, I like to do just because whenever we spray that black spray paint on afterwards, I think it bleeds less, but I don't know the science behind it. I just think it bleeds a little bit less. So
yeah, personally, what I like to do is carve it and then seal it with a shellac and then paint it and then sand it. That usually works pretty good. But sealing it first also helps.
So you'll carve it out and then seal it, Kyle?
Yeah, I like to use a brush on shellac. I think it penetrates really good.
And so why I like, one of the cool things about the Altmill, like I always show, I like this. A lot of people like the Masso and the Onefinity because it's super robust and amazing. I like this because it's all on one page. I can load it. I can see the thing. I can move it around. I can set all my Z0s, and I don't have to hop from page to page. One of my favorite things about CNCs, or one of the things I look for on my CNCs is how good the computer interface is, because I'm a dummy and I do not like flipping from page to page and for it to be complicated. I do not have an engineering background. I just want stuff to work. So any preference, Kyle, you have on computer screens or anything like that?
Yeah, like you said, preferably something easy to use and something that has a lot of good features, but not too many features where it overwhelms you. and you don't know what to click.
Well, and then don't do what I just did. Don't hit the old X and Y 0 right when you got it homed. It's not fun.
Let's see if we can have Ryan break a bit.
You know, I've only done that on show number 1.
Start
not
placing
plan
your
on
bets
doing
in the comments.
Yeah, I do not plan on doing that again. And right when this thing goes, guys, once we launch this, we can, or once we click go, we can do a drawing. So while I'm getting this set up, Kyle, you want to talk about what the first giveaway is going to be of the show?
Is that from my end?
Yes, sir. You can talk about it, and we'll do the drawing. You introduce it.
Sounds good. So I'm going to be giving away if you don't know who I am, so I'm from Learn Your CNC Academy. I do Vectric training for the most part, but we have a big community. We have a master training course where we do step-by-step how to learn Vectric from scratch, all the way up to where you're 3D modeling. But we also have a really active community with thousands of users. And each week we do live Q&As, live project lessons. We have monthly challenges. It's a really fun community if you use Vectric. So we're going to be giving 1 month free access to that if you're a new member. So if you want to join in on that, we're going to be doing that as a giveaway.
Yep. And let us know in the chat if you're currently a member of Learn Your CNC. I am. I learn a ton from Kyle. I pop in on his weekly live streams every now and then and try to learn from him because, once again, I just like to press go. I don't like to figure out all the computer stuff. I'll let computer stuff guys teach me how to do computer stuff. And Kyle is the very, very best. And you have a ton of people in that community that are killing it. So let us know in the comments if you're already a member. All right, so real quick, I'll get it loaded. Whichever one, if I named it, don't forget about your name. There we go.
See lots of familiar faces in the chat.
Say that again.
I said I see lots of familiar faces in the chat. Lots of members.
Yeah, and if you're new to CNC, I mean, communities like Kyle's, live streams like this, you know, the woodworking community, what I like about it so much is we're all pretty tight-knit. We all want to win. There's not like some ultimatum that, you know, somebody's trying to take an angle on you or anything like that. So the more you're involved in communities, the more you're involved with talking to everybody, it would be in your benefit, in your best interest. All right, so I got it Z0'd. I got the XY0. Let's press go on this, and let's talk some shop. And then as the, have we spun up the drawing yet? I can't see. No? No? Okay. All right. Charlie's getting that ready behind the stage. What we got? All right. So guys, if y'all want a free 1 month with Kyle's live group training, do hashtag Learn Your CNC or LYCNC. And when you win, you'll let me know and I'll put you in contact with Kyle and we can get you that squared away. So if you do hashtag Learn Your CNC, you'll get entered.
Yeah, I would say make sure if you're already a member, don't enter so we get a fair chance for some of the new members there.
Yeah. And we'll put a link as well in the description. Kyle was kind enough to give me a discount code for anybody on the live stream. So if you want to join his academy, join his community, if you do not win, we have a discount code and a link in the description that we'll put in there.
Sure.
All right. So I'm going to click go on this bad boy and let it start working. Lots of entries coming in. Having more than 6. There we go. And so one thing as this is going, Charlie, if we could pan up while they're still entering in, if we can cut to my screen real quick. So what it's doing, what's so cool, if you look at this Z gantry right here, this Z stepper motor, look how much it just wiggles. Like, to me, that's super cool. So I'm running at 120 inches a minute, which is pretty decently fast because this Z stepper motor has to go like super twitchy when it's doing all these different details in this. And I do find that interesting on the Altmill. It is pretty dang good at that. It doesn't really shake much. I mean, even if you look at this pencil right here, it's not shaking much whenever it's, it's shaking a little bit, but I've had some CNCs that are just vibrating everywhere. And this one really doesn't do it too much. So that is one little perk I like about the Altmill, and I find fascinating about V-Carves or Photo V-Carves. And that's all it's going to do. It's just going to do a whole bunch of lines, and we can tell right here that we have 13 minutes remaining in this V-Carve that it's doing. Pretty sick looking. And keep in mind, we will finish this out. I kind of did a haphazard one before the live so we can sand it down. You can actually see what it will look like. So pretty cool here. All right. Kyle, do we got enough drawings in? We got enough people entered? Let's do a live drawing. All right, we got drum roll. Ooh. Mortal, congratulations!
Got a winner.
Love the name. Some would say only mere mortals can win this. So congratulations. So reach out to sales@cicworkshop.com and we will get you squared away with Kyle to claim your prize. And we are doing another giveaway. Whenever this gets done, we're going to be giving away a bit set, which is worth over $100.
What spindle are you using?
Yeah, so the spindle I'm using currently right here came with the Altmill. It is the 80 millimeter 1.5 kilowatt, 1.6 kilowatt, don't quote me. One of those, it's not the 220 plug one. I wanted everything to be 110. And so I think this roughly comes out to about a 2 horsepower spindle, something like that. It's air cooled, all that good stuff. And this is the base thing that I got from Altmill, right? I got the upgraded screen. I think it's like $450, but it is a full out computer here. It's touchscreen. I can watch YouTube on it and I can do my CNC on it, which is super cool. So I hate laptops. This is all in one. And then the bit that I'm using, it's not this one because this is a 30 degree. The one I'm using is in this machine, but it's from us. It's our CIC workshop bit. It is a 60 degree V bit with 3 flutes and that ZRN coating. So this is the bit that I'm using right here. And it's all shiny and pretty, but it's a 60 degree version of that. But yeah, so Kyle, I'm gonna bring my whiteboard in over here. And I want to explain the depth and the V-bit real quick again for everybody on this if they're interested. And if I have any questions, TJ, which is my brother behind camera, just shout them out and I will get with it. And guys, I'll put the link for the Altmill. Once again, if you do check out the Altmill, it does help the channel out. Altmill sees the clicks. They say, hey, Ryan, you're doing a great job. And they buy me a drink every now and then, which is much appreciated. And I did not start the show off with a bottle of whiskey because I'm not drinking for the month of March. Thanks, Kyle. He made me do it. So,
hey, I don't know about that.
So we have the depth of cut right here, Kyle, that we did on Aspire or VCarve Pro.
Yep.
Right. And the depth of cut determines like your line spacing, right? Because if you can go, let's say this right here is 0.06 inches, right? And this is how many V's it puts to reach there because you have that V bit coming in, right? You have that 60 degree V bit coming in right here. And so, gosh, I'm horrible. So this is your 60 degree V bit. It's coming in. So it's going to flatten out at 0.06 and you're going to get so many lines. But you're saying whenever you do a 30 degree V bit, you're going to have these steeper angles like this to reach that 0.06 height. And then whenever you have these steeper angles,
you can get tighter
it can
lines.
get more lines in there.
Yeah.
Right? Is that kind of what I'm hearing from you?
That's pretty much the concept there. And
Yeah.
that allows you to get more details packed in the same amount of distance.
Okay. So we would typically, so technically, shouldn't it be twice as many lines you're going to get from a 30 degree? If you do it the same depth?
Yeah, I don't know if exactly twice, but it sounds like it. In theory, it would be, but I don't know. I've never actually counted them.
Okay. Okay.
Also
And
depends
then-
on your settings, how much spacing you have set up in the toolpath as well.
Okay. Let's see. Kyle, did you want to show me that trick you said right before we save?
You could take a look at that.
Do you want to do it on my computer or do you want to show it on yours?
We could do it on yours since it's already you have something up. Or
Yeah, sure. All right. All right, so what trick are we gonna learn here?
All right, so this isn't the best picture for it, but I can show you basically how to do it.
Okay.
Let's just try you pick star or circle.
Let's do star.
Okay, so take a star and draw it like on the focal point, like a small star. Basically, it's like where the guys are or where the flag is.
Like right here?
Yeah, that will be fine. Okay, and now close that out. No, just that one.
Okay.
And select that star. And then go to the offset tool in down the bottom left. Yep. All right, and you're gonna go outwards. Make sure you do select new at the bottom. Yep.
Okay.
And distance can be very small. This will be your line spacing basically. So yeah, you could do a small like 0.05 for example.
All right.
All right, so if you click offset and just smash that offset button, just keep clicking it, it's going to create a whole bunch of those. And you'll have to play with this. Basically, however many you put there is how many it's going to create for your project. But as you can see, the more you put there, it's going to cover the image. So you basically want to find a focal point of the image and offset a shape and just do it a bunch of times until it covers the image. So like I said, this isn't the best image for that. Even this is enough. You can just try it with that. That's good there. Now, if you close that and then go back to your Photo V-Carve toolpath, you may even want to create a new one if you don't want to mess up the one you already have.
No, I can mess it up, baby. I can rewatch the live.
So do you see where it says selected vectors as your other option? You can do that. Now you have to select all those star shapes and the image. And what that will do is take that star and the image. You might want to deselect the rectangles around there. Yeah. That might be the image.
Right.
And
Yeah,
then now try to do a Photo V-Carve on there. And now instead of going at the angle it was before, it will now follow that star pattern. So like I said, this isn't the best use of that. It looks better on an image with a really good focal point. But you see, if you zoom in on that spot where the flag is, you see that star, and it kind of spider webs outside of that from all those offsets, and it follows that star. You can do it with spirals. You can do it with all kinds of different shapes. You can even trace an object in the picture and then offset that a bunch of times. There's a lot of cool things you can do with it.
Kyle, I got a question since you're the CNC master over here. How would I get, if I just want this square, I want all the lines inside the square, but none of this stuff right here.
Yes, if you select all those star shapes and the square together, just not the picture, just deselect the picture. And then in your edit objects, there's going to be one that says, it's right next to the left of the scissors. It says trim right there. Yep.
So if I hit that.
Yep. Click on that. And then there's one that says clear outside, the first one. Yep. And click clear. that will now trim everything outside of that rectangle.
Huh.
Actually, whatever was selected last. I don't remember if you selected the rectangle last. So we'll see what
Yeah, we
happens.
want to find out.
Yeah, especially when you have a lot of objects, it'll take a little bit longer.
Okay, and that's going to confine everything to inside of that vector
Yep.
right there.
So it doesn't waste all that time machining outside there, and also crash into something if you have it going way out there.
If this program doesn't show down.
Yeah, something like this is good. Yeah, I think it trimmed to the wrong vector. You might have to
All
undo
right,
that.
so what I'll it trimmed the very outside one.
Yeah.
So let me undo that. And then it's whatever you select last, right? So I need to select that.
Yeah.
All right, clear outside boundary. And then it's going to delete all the lines that are outside of this.
Yes.
That's beautiful. I'm used to using that snipping tool.
Here you
Oh,
go.
that's nice.
Now it still has that star shape. It just trimmed everything that was outside of there.
Yeah,
Now save you
that's
lots of time.
beautiful. That's why you're the master there, Kyle.
Yeah, I see Marcus says, since it's an offset, would you convert to Bezier curves? That's only if you're working with a curved line. In this case, it was a star. So they're straight line segments. So you don't have to worry about this. But yes, if it
So you're
was...
talking about the nodes in it like this?
Exactly. These nodes are going to be perfect because they're straight line segments. But if it was a curved line and you had to offset a bunch of times, it's going to create really messy nodes. And you're going to have to use what's called the curve fit tool to fix it.
Beautiful. Yeah, I wish I had a better... I need to... If I can back out and bring back Marilyn Monroe real quick. She's, you know, do like a little heart right in the middle of her.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one.
That would be... that's my girl. And John F. Kennedy's girl. But we're not going to talk about that.
That's another live stream.
Yeah. That's another live stream, probably conspiracy theorist out there. Yeah, so right here, this would be a good example. If we were to delete these out.
Like I said, you
Nobody
can
wants to
even
go
like
pile.
draw an outline around her and offset that, but it will get harder as you offset it inwards. So it's probably better, like you said, like do a heart in the middle or something and do a bunch of offsets.
Okay. And I'm actually curious of this right now, Kyle, because she is going to go in my man cave one day in epoxy.
There you go.
That's my girl. All right, so if we skinny her down real quick, she don't need to be any thinner, but all right. So we can do this. I'm gonna draw a quick heart.
If you go to
Just to see
clip
if I
art, there
can-
should be one in there. Yeah, go to clip art and then go to 2D. Oh, wait,
All right.
you're missing the folder. There should be one that says 2D vectors. It looks like you might be missing it.
Yep.
Maybe
Great.
try to go to panels and shields, maybe.
Okay.
Oh, looks like you're missing your clip art. You might have to download it. All right.
Yeah, I need to.
like
Let
you're
me
gonna-
draw a quick heart real quick.
I'm gonna see Ryan's drawing skills here.
Hey man, I learned this from you. I learned all of this from you. I mean, if I go right
Wait,
here,
it depends on how good this heart turns out. If you learned it from me or not.
well, let me see. I'm gonna bring this line over real quick. It's good enough. All right. I'll arc it.
I won't judge you.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, this is gonna be the heart. All right, guys.
We'll
Don't
call
judge.
that a heart.
Yeah. There we go. All right, it's good enough. Let's call that a heart. So we're gonna put this heart right real quick
You're missing
in the middle.
one.
And once again, if any of y'all want to join Kyle's course, we have that link and we do have the code.
Yep. If you want to join my course to learn how to draw better hearts, I can teach you.
Yeah. This is early on when Kyle taught me how to do the heart here. You know, I'm not saying I'm a wizard.
Just messing
All
with you.
right, so we just do a whole bunch of these.
Yeah, the only problem with some of these shapes, as you can see, the more you offset it, the more it distorts and almost turns into like an oval by the time you get way out there.
You know what? Look where I put that heart. I'm not saying I did that on purpose, but that is kind of funny. Oops. So I just do this a whole bunch. And The CNC just finished. So I'm just going to do this a couple more times. Select both, like you said.
Another
This
cool
is
thing
cool,
about
man.
this, if you make that heart bigger, you can almost put another picture inside of that shape in the middle. Let's say you're doing a picture for anniversary present and you want to do a picture of your wife, and then in the middle you have a picture of yourself and a heart. You can do that too, which would be pretty cool. That one's
would
going to
be
be harder
cool.
to see because it's really white in that area. So
Yeah.
it's going to not carve in the white areas.
Yeah,
So
so like you said, I mean, Photo V-Carves are
They're
very
tricky.
picture dependent.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, beautiful. All
You
right,
get
so
the
our
general idea.
CNC is now done. I'll hop it out of the way. Somebody asked about if a like 15-degree V-bit would be better. So here's why I use a 60. So I have this little wire brush to clean all this stuff up. And so I'm just going to come in here, use this wire brush. Pretty simple. If you have a really, really thin bit, you're going to break a lot of those, like a lot of those peaks, right? So to me, a 60-degree V-bit gives me enough of that stability so I can quickly do a cleanup and I ain't worried about chip out.
That's a good
So
point.
if you use like a softer material or a plywood, right, you're all those peaks and stuff are going to break, right? So I want a nice wide base right here. If you have this narrower base, then this is more likely to break, or that wider base, right, you're good.
Yeah.
Now, if it's plywood, you're going to have all these layers, and then that piece will break off, and then it's dark where it shouldn't be dark.
Exactly.
Yeah. Could you run a ball nose on a Photo V-Carve?
You probably could, but your line spacing is gonna have to be bigger. Have not personally done it, but I'm sure it's possible. I would probably stick with the V-bit though, hence the name Photo V-Carve.
Good answer. Good answer. And one of the things, like Kyle said, you definitely want to check your Z height. So possibly this thing is not set well, and it's going to be really hard to set, really hard to see. It kind of faded out right here at the top. I don't know if it did that on purpose, but this piece could have been slightly unlevel, and so it didn't run it any at the top right here. That could have been in the program, could have not. I won't know until I paint it black and sand it off. But to Kyle's point, the Z height matters a ton on this.
Yeah. Just a hair difference could make a big difference in the final outcome.
So from this point, Kyle, you put a clear coat on it and then paint it black?
Yeah, I like to put a shellac that dries really quick and then paint it black and then sand it.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I'm going to hop on over right behind us. And I have this. I'm going to paint it black real quick. And then I have one I did earlier. That is okay. Now, nobody judge me for not wearing a mask or doing all the other stuff. That's for different live streams, not this one. Yeah, and I'm not going to clear coat it. That's fine for tonight. But all you do then, right, Kyle, is just spray paint it on. That's all I've ever done.
Definitely good to follow the angle of the line that you did. That's good. And then I'd probably do it in both directions too, so you can get the maximum coverage in the grooves.
Yeah, boom, here, baby. And I really like that 50.5 degree angle we did on that flag. I think that's going to really come out nice. So that's it. And then we let it dry and we sand it off.
Nice.
Pretty simple.
I see.
Now, I have one that's similar that I did earlier. Not exactly the same as Kyle's. So we'll sand this one off real quick.
Let's check it out.
Yeah, let's do it. Any sanding tips, Kyle, when we're doing these?
Make sure the paint is really dry, or you're gonna gum up your sandpaper.
Yeah, and make sure too, like if there's a dark spot right, or like a space. Oh my gosh, this live stream stuff is killing me. A space that is supposed to be dark. Do not dig your sander into it. Not good.
Yep. Leave it flat and don't spend too much time in one place.
Yeah. And I'll show you what I did wrong on the Einstein earlier to hit that point home.
Nice.
I'm just using 180 grit. And I'm using some random sander I got off Amazon. All right. I need an air That's it, man. It's looking good. You know how hard it is to do a live stream? Sanding is so boring. I'm trying to do this on a live stream, and it is different. It is different, guys. All right, getting the air compressor working. Let's see. But again, this is just an old cutting board that I had in the back of the shop. My personal compressed air, not so bueno. So if we just spray this off. Maybe not the perfect photo to do. And I can probably sand it down just a little bit more right here. What do you think so far, Kyle?
That looks amazing. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
And I did paint this about 2 hours ago, so
Yep.
yeah, it is gumming up the old sandpaper there.
There you go.
If I just do it a little bit more. Right there. Should be good. That's probably sounds horrible on the mic. I am so sorry, guys.
Nope. Looks good. You know what's
There we go.
interesting is you can see the different strips of the wood. So based on like what grain of the wood is, you can really tell.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that in person, but you can really see it on the camera.
No, I can definitely see it, like that darker piece of maple right there.
Yeah.
But what's cool about this is if your wood's chipping out, you're going to see these big old black splotches everywhere. But this one's not really chipping out because it's that hard maple, and I use that 60-degree V-bit. So this is that 0.05 cut depth, and it only went down the 0.05 in the dark spots. All the light spots didn't go down so much. All right.
Looks amazing.
Yeah. So I want to talk about what not to do. So I did an Einstein on this little one. And I believe, Kyle, this was 0.05 as well. So if we did these two things right here, we show that. When you talk about over sanding,
Yeah.
look at Einstein's 5 head.
5 head. Yeah.
So if you can tell, there's no lines on it. And like in person, it's really, really white.
Yep.
So don't do that. I ran it through the wide belt sander, got a little crazy. And
Mistakes were made.
Yeah, mistakes were made. And Einstein now has one of the biggest foreheads in history. So this one came out really good because I used that hand sander and it was beautiful. So these are 2 Photo V-Carves. And I actually, Kyle, I watched your Photo V-Carve session and I got all the settings from that.
Nice.
And that's what I ran. And that's pretty much the same stuff we ran here. So
Glad it worked out for you.
pretty cool. Yeah, yeah. Guys, y'all like this? Give this a thumbs up. Pretty cool. Got any questions coming in? Usually we get so many more questions. You guys are crazy. Would y'all like me to make Marilyn Monroe with this, like with this style right here?
Would MDF work?
Let me know.
I vote yes.
Yeah, vote yes. I'll make a YouTube video about it maybe.
Yeah, I will point out those of you that want to do the epoxy filling of the Photo V-Carve, and if you want to surface it afterwards, that's where that first setting in the Photo V-Carve toolpath will come into play, which is the start depth. Basically, you would put your start depth, whatever depth you plan on removing later. So let's say let's say you wanted to epoxy fill it and then trim off the surface later. Whatever amount you're trimming off later, you're going to put that in your start depth because it's going to cut that much deeper.
On most Photo V-Carves, Kyle, if we're going to do that, and that's actually a good point. So if I know that I'm going to have to surface this stuff off,
yeah,
I probably want it to actually go a little bit deeper. That way I can work my way towards the image I want.
correct. Yeah, that can be achieved with the start depth feature. When you use that start depth feature, it's going to cut deeper in the initial cut, and it's going to look like you totally messed it up. But you got to trust the process, fill it with your color if you're doing epoxy, and then trim off that same amount that you set for your start depth, and it will look perfect when it's done.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Does anybody have any questions for Kyle? We're going to do our second drawing of the live stream. Is there anything y'all want to see on the Altmill? And really, that didn't take long. I mean, we did this whole thing in how far we are along? Like an hour, 20 minutes on the CNC, something like that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I also want to point out that the new version 12 of Vectric has a new toolpath called sketch carving. And that's another toolpath you can use for cutting images. It's another unique looking toolpath.
Looks like we're going to have to do that on another live stream, man.
Oh, yeah.
Have to have you back on. We're going to do our second giveaway of the live stream real quick, guys. We're going to give away do you have my bits, TJ? I'll talk about them. We're going to give away a Gold Digger family set. It's going to be, I don't have them all here. It's going to be extended cut, upcut, 1.5-inch cutting length rougher, down cut rougher with a 1-inch cutting length, and another upcut rougher with a 1-inch cutting length. So it's going to be a total of 3 bits that you will get all 3 roughers. And we use this back over there in the shop, right over here on these CNCs, these big industrial ones. We use these all the time on these. And if any of y'all guys would ever want to do a live or want me to do a live on the dual head CNC or on the Shop Saber, let me know. Right now I'm doing a lot of stuff on the Altmill because it's a smaller CNC and it's relatable. But if y'all guys want me to tear some stuff up on these big ones, let me know. Let me know. So once again, we're going to give away a Gold Digger family set. And it's not cheap. So hope y'all like this. Definitely use all the links we're posting out. And triple threat. So if y'all guys do hashtag triple threat, y'all will get entered for a chance to win. And for those of you who didn't turn in last week or 2 weeks ago, we did a live V-Carve. Not this scene, but something very similar. So we'll be doing projects every single week on the live stream. And any input from y'all really helps. Kyle, do you have any experience with roughers?
Yes, I do. I used to use 1/2-inch roughers. My industrial side of things.
Is that how you got started into CNC?
No, I started just like everyone else here, the small CNC and then graduated to an industrial machine and a big architectural woodworking shop, and then still have my small CNCs as well.
What's the fastest you ever ran a 1/2-inch bit?
Typically run them, typically cutting full depth, I would just run them at 300 inches per minute, but I've ran them 700 inches per minute cutting Corian.
Cool.
3D cutting Corian, actually.
What, Kyle, somebody asked in the questions, could we use MDF? Is that possible?
You
Photo
could.
V-Carve?
For Photo V-Carve, you could, but it's very challenging. You have to have a really high quality MDF. Most people don't know there's many different types of MDF. There's one called Ranger Board. It's a really dense MDF that's good for painting. That one would work good for something like this, but a standard piece of MDF that you get from Home Depot or something is not going to be a good option for this because it's just going to break on you. Those peaks of the V's, they're all going to break off.
Okay.
You can try it, but I don't think it'd be a good option.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. We got it still coming in. We're coming in on an hour on the live stream. Oh, what kind of projects do I make on that big double CNC? Oh, gosh, right here. I cut out piggy banks and cutting boards. That's it. Lots of piggy banks and cutting boards. So I'll cut out this. We'll run a 1/2-inch bit, about a 1/2 inch deep at around 500 inches a minute. And we haul butt. All right, let's do the drawing real quick. And then we have one more. Did you see my question about shellac painting, or did that sand off without the black before bleeding? Fred, let me see if we can help you there. So, give you context. This one that I did earlier, all I did was do the clear coat, and then I painted it black afterwards. And this is how it turned out. So, very minimal bleeding. Not too bad.
And that's what maple. If you had a different material like a oak or MDF, or not MDF, oak or ash or something like that, you would get lots of bleeding. It's more porous material. Definitely try to get a better quality hardwood.
Yep. All right, let's do this drawing, guys. For the Gold Digger family set, we have quite a few entries in here, 165 entries. So the winner of this drawing will be walking away with a Gold Digger family set, complimented by CICworkshop.com. Let's do the drawing, baby. Lone Star Performance Films. Reach out to us at sales@cscworkshop.com and we will get you that Gold Digger bit set. And then guys, if y'all have any future projects you want me to work on, leave a comment, not in the chat, but in the comments of this video after this live is posted, and we will make that happen, whether it's on this, whether it's on the Shop Saber. And if you want us to bring Kyle back, where he actually programs a lot more, shows you his immense knowledge, please let me know. But yeah, we made this today. Pretty cool. And you can do all this. And our video this Sunday will be over Photo V-Carves as well. And we're actually going to have Kyle pop in on there and help us out there. Kyle, any last words, man?
I appreciate being on, and that was a fun live stream, and like seeing how the project turned out. So good job.
Yep. And once again, guys, check out Kyle's Learn Your CNC. It's the knowledge there is crazy. I really appreciate y'all. I appreciate you watching the live stream. We're going to be growing this, and this is a record-breaking live stream. So I really appreciate it, guys. I will see y'all next week. And remember, if you ain't cutting it close, you ain't cutting it right. I love doing that.